Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are here with Austin from Ohio, and today is Tuesday, June 8th, 2021. This is my third time trying to make this video now. The first time I got about 11 minutes in, and the recording somehow stopped. Said the video was corrupted, so I decided to start over again. And then on the last time, I was going through just like the time before, same way as I'm going to go through this video here. And again, I get to the same exact article. Boom. Done. I thought maybe it could have been the website with all the ads that were going that might have corrupted it and got it to stop, but I don't know what it is. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try it again. And hopefully we can keep going this time and get this video done, or I will be very upset. But this first one is from today, and there's a lot going on. There's a whole lot going on, and we have to remain strong in our convictions. We have to remain vigilant, of course, watching all this stuff and reporting on it when it happens. Maybe if enough people knew about certain things, they could be prevented, as has worked in the past. That's our mission. Okay, so this first one, massive internet outage. Websites and apps around the world go dark. Oh, and it just so happens to be today. And you guys will see why today is a big, big moment for this to happen. And it just a little too coincidental. Not. Anyway. Countless websites and apps around the world went down for about an hour Tuesday after Fastly, a major content delivery network, reported a widespread failure. Fastly supports news sites and apps like CNN, The Guardian, New York Times, and many others. It also provides content delivery for Twitch, Pinterest, HBO Max, Hulu, Reddit, Spotify, and other services. Other major internet platforms and sites, including Amazon, Target, and the UK government website, gov.uk, were affected. The problem was caused by an outage at Fastly, a cloud service provider. The company said on its service status website, which was working Tuesday morning, it had identified the problem and fixed the issue. Service for sites and apps started to be restored a little after 7 a.m., although Fastly said some customers may experience longer load times as a residual effect of the outage. The outage affected dozens of countries across the Americas, Europe, and Asia, as well as South Africa. Fastly said it identified a service configuration that triggered disruptions across servers around the world. The company has disabled that configuration. Fastly helps improve load times for websites and provides other services to internet sites, apps, and platforms, including a large global server network designed to smooth out traffic, overloads that can bring down websites, such as denial of service attack. That's the kind of attack that happened here, a denial of service attack. But they weren't attacked by any. We'll get to all that. We'll get to all that. But because Fastly provides a layer of support between internet companies and customers trying to access news sites, social media, and other online platforms, when it goes down, access to those services can be blocked entirely. Companies that operate on the internet can switch content delivery networks, and some appeared able to bypass Fastly's outage Tuesday morning, but that's not always an easy or quick proposition. Major website and app outages happen from time to time and typically don't last long. Internet service providers, content delivery networks, and other hosting services are built with multiple redundancies and a global network of backup servers designed to reduce disruptions when things go haywire. In August 2020, CenturyLink, an internet service provider that is supposed to keep websites up and running, was down itself for a better part of a day. That meant Cloudflare, Hulu, PlayStation Network, Xbox Live, Feedly, Discord, and dozens of other services reported connectivity problems. When Cloudflare, content delivery network like Fastly, went down, it took dozens of websites and online services along with it. So yes, this happened today. And also, This one happened today. Major food service company cyber hack shut down. This is News Desk. A woman who is director in food service for hospitals has advised she was notified that Edward Don has been cyber attacked and not able to take any orders for at least a couple of days. Edward Don is the largest provider of food service products. Here's what this means. According to the company's website, Edward Don and Company's 7 distribution centers in Chicago, Philadelphia, Fort Lauderdale, Atlanta, Dallas, Seattle, and Los Angeles give a nationwide presence that is strategic as well as convenient. With this company having been cyber hacked, hospitals cannot order any food service products along with restaurants or grocery stores. Hospitals have a 72-hour supply for emergencies to feed patients. In other words, they have their menus for the week. Once all of that is gone and they have to dig into their emergency supplies, which are only for 72 hours. It means they literally have 10 days to get this resolved. And that's just hospitals, not including grocery stores and restaurants. And of course, this is a developing story. Check back for updates. So, these things just so happen to happen today, right? Well, let's go ahead and keep going. Here's an article that is related to what we're talking about, and I think this one was posted 3 days ago. Yeah. And this is ransomware attacks are closing schools, delaying chemotherapy, and derailing everyday life. After years of warnings, the impact of ransomware finally hits home for regular people. San Francisco, it can feel abstract. A group of organized but faceless criminals hijacking corporate computer systems and demanding millions of dollars in exchange for their safe return. But the impact of these ransomware attacks is increasingly unavoidably real for everyday people. Again, this with the narrative, they're trying to make you think that it's just some bandits or something out there trying to get money and they're using their knowledge to hack all this stuff, and no. It's not the way it's happening. It's not the way it's happening. I don't even have to look into it, and I know who is behind this. These crimes have resulted in missed chemotherapy appointments and delayed ambulances, lost school days, and transportation problems. A ransomware attack on Colonial Pipeline in May led to gas shortages and even dangerous situations caused by panic buying. This past week, hackers compromised the JBS meat processing company. Another big one that happened. A meat processing company. Leading to worries about meat shortages or other key food providers being at risk. Well, that's kind of in line with the Agenda 21, right? Because they don't want you to eat meat anymore. They want you to eat their weird mystery meat. They say it's made from plants, but I really don't believe that. Some of it maybe, but I don't believe that. Especially if Bill Gates is backing it. But hey, I'm just some guy, what do I know? Last fall, the Baltimore County Public School System was hit with ransomware and forced to halt classes for 2 days, which were being held virtually. As recently as Wednesday, ransomware attacks were causing problems across the country. In Martha's Vineyard, the ferry service transporting people to and from the Massachusetts island said it had been hit by a ransomware attack that disrupted its ticketing and reservation process. Ferries continued operating all week, but the ticketing system was still affected, causing delays on Friday. The recent spate of high-profile ransomware incidents is exactly what cybersecurity professionals have been warning about for years. But it's partially the impact on everyday people. Far from the executive suites, cybersecurity companies or government agencies that regularly fret about the criminal enterprise that has made the risk more visible. The ripple effects of ransomware can result in everything from mild inconvenience to people losing their lives, and it's only increased in frequency during the situation. And basically, they just go on about how it's getting worse, and it's the worst possible time. He said on average there are likely 20 to 30 big ransomware attacks happening behind the scenes in addition to the ones making headlines. And then just go on about ransomware attacks are not new. The money at stake has changed drastically, however, inflating from thousands to millions of dollars, and the target's more sophisticated as well. Yeah, they want you to think that just these random people are out there just demanding all this money, and they have the ability to hack into all these different things, and they can never stop it, and this and that. Come on. This is literally all just to build a image or a narrative inside of your head, to keep you looking in the wrong direction, looking at your fellow man, people you see every day, thinking that they are some big hacker that's going to do all this. No, this is CIA. Now you've got ransomware affecting whole corporate networks, interrupting critical national function, causing disruption in people's lives. It's really become a national security, public health, and safety threat, said Michael Daniel, president and CEO of nonprofit group Cyber Threat Alliance. I'm not going to go through and read this whole thing because there's some things that I want to get to. I'm not sure how this recording is going to be. The ransomware industry has grown, but the underlying techniques for gaining access have largely stayed the same. Hackers commonly access company systems through phishing attacks, emails sent to try to trick employees into giving up passwords or access. Once inside a company system, ransomware outfits will find critical information and lock it down, then contact the company to demand ransom for it to be released. These criminals generally work in loosely defined groups, sharing tips and resources that make it possible for individual hackers to easily extort multiple targets. Companies occasionally have backup copies of their systems that they can restore rather than pay a ransom, but that can result in delays. Sometimes hackers make copies of the information they access and threaten to leak private information online if they are not paid. A big data leak could be a huge issue for consumers, not just the companies. Quote, there is this awful downward spiral of societal harm that happens from ransomware, said Megan Stifel, co-chair Ransomware Task Force and executive director at Global Cyber Alliance. Well, there's all these different networks and alliances, right? Weird. The Colonial Pipeline attack was one of the many worst-case scenarios experts have been warning about and planning for years. A ransomware attack last month caused the company to shut down its pipeline connecting Texas to New Jersey. And we know about people panicking and going and getting a bunch of gas. Some people were putting it in trash bags. Some people were putting it in styrofoam bags. I even seen this guy that tried to put gasoline into one of those styrofoam cooler looking things. You do realize that gasoline eats styrofoam. It breaks it down completely. Even the smallest bit of gasoline. But basically, they had to issue a warning. Don't fill plastic bags with gasoline. Oh, people's safety has been even more directly threatened by attacks on healthcare systems. Hospitals have been particularly hard to hit. As far back as 2016, when the Hollywood Presbyterian Medical Hospital paid $17,000 in Bitcoin to a ransomware hacker. Last November, the University of Vermont Medical Center was hit by ransomware, and it took nearly a month for it to regain access to its medical records. Chemotherapy patients had their treatments delayed and were sent to other health centers where some had to recreate their medical history. Yeah, and they just keep talking about how, and with the situation and this and that and this and that. But let's just go ahead and move on. I just wanted to bring this up because it's related to what we're talking about. So far, so good on the recording. It's not too bad because it kept cutting out on this next article I'm about to show you, actually. the past 2 times I got to this article, the recording stopped. So we'll see what happens with it. Hopefully I can get through this entire thing. If not, then you'll never even see this anyway, if it does get shut down. But Energy Secretary says enemies are capable of shutting down U.S. power grid. This was 2 days ago. Now, all of this, you'll see. So just pay attention to the dates. We had June 8th, which is today, June 5th, now June 6th, when the Secretary came out and said this. Adversaries to the U.S. are capable of shutting down the nation's electrical grid, Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm admitted Sunday, saying that such cybersecurity attacks are happening all the time. Granholm warned of the system's vulnerabilities amid an uptick in ransomware sieges on CNN's State of the Union. Quote, "Yeah, they do," Granholm told host Jake Tapper when asked if foreign actors have the ability to make power grid go dark. Well, of course they do, but it won't be just some random foreign actor. It always has and always will be the same people who are, continuing with their Agenda 21, unscathed, I might add. Quote, "There are very malign actors who are trying even as we speak," she explained. "There are thousands of attacks on all aspects of the energy sector and the private sector generally." Granholm added, "It's happening all the time. This is why the private sector and the public sector have to work together." Wow. This is why the private sector and the public sector have to work together. You mean like merging government and business, as in fascism, right? Anyway, Granholm, the former Michigan governor, touted the Biden administration's efforts to combat cyber attacks. She said, quote, "Working with other countries, working with the private sector, working inside of our own government, the president has been issuing these executive orders to make sure our own house is in order, and making sure that citizens are able to protect themselves is all necessary to prevent cyber attacks. The bottom line is we have all got to up our games with respect to our cyber defenses. Whether you're private sector, public sector, whatever, you shouldn't be paying ransomware attacks because it only encourages the bad guys. Military action is on the table as an option to fight back against cybercrime," Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo said Sunday. Military action. Okay. And Raimondo was asked ABC's this week if the U.S. should take a more aggressive approach to ransomware attacks that appeared to largely be originating in Russia. Oh yeah, blame different countries, Russia, China. Don't matter who they blame. We knew they were going to blame somebody. They're just setting up the narrative. So when something big does happen, and it will, as you will see, it will, they could easily blame it on one of these scapegoats. Anyway, quote, "We won't stand for a nation supporting or turning a blind eye to criminal enterprise," Raimondo told host George Stephanopoulos. Quote, "As the president has said, we are considering all of our options, and we're not taking anything off the table as we think about possible repercussions, consequences, or retaliation." Stephanopoulos then asked, should we be contemplating military action, even if these are private, not government entities? Quote, "As I said, all options are on the table." Quote, "This is a top priority, and all of us in the Cabinet and National Security Council are focused on it and considering all possible consequences." Well, I'm sure you are. I'm sure you got it all down, right? Look at this. Raimondo said businesses should assume the attacks are here to stay, and if anything, will intensify. The warnings come after FBI Director Christopher Wray compared the challenges posed by cybersecurity threats to the September 11th terror attacks. Oh, so now we're comparing it to one of their biggest false flags that they've ever pulled on the American people. Second only to our current situation. Oh, man. A ransomware attack on Colonial Pipeline in May brought the largest U.S. oil pipeline to a halt for 6 days. In addition, 5 of America's largest beef plants were shut down Tuesday because of a cyber attack. Okay, so 5 beef plants. You know, like, you think that's just random? A random cyber attack? Somebody chose a beef plant? Some regular average Joe hacker or Russia chose a beef plant, 5 of them, to shut down. Well, where's the motive? Because the person I see with the motive would be like, Bill Gates, because he's like against meat and all that stuff, and the people behind Agenda 21, because they don't want you eating stuff like that. There's your motive. On Sunday, the Senate's Sergeant-at-Arms Karen Gibson told CNN that the threat of cyber attacks keeps me up at night, more so than the fear of another insurrection at the nation's capital. Yes, so fear. Fear everything. Fear everything. Okay. One more little short thing before we go into why this is happening. Let me show you that real quick. Okay, this is a short little article. I saw this actually yesterday. I tried to look it up. I couldn't find it because it got posted today, but I saw it on NBC yesterday, just walking past the living room, and I happened to look. I read the headline, and as soon as I seen the headline, this one right here, growing movement to end single-family housing zones, I immediately thought, this is Agenda 21. They want to get rid of single-family housing units. Like houses and stuff, because they want to cram you all like sardines into mega cities. In those little, what are they, like 10 foot by 10 foot small little room? That's your kitchen, bathroom, and bedroom all put together? Come on. California's Bay Area, home to major tech companies, is among the most expensive housing markets in the country. There is a divide over how to address the affordable housing crisis and whether denser housing options, which are restricted by zoning laws, could help. Yes, they are, and that's it. This is all just how to connect to NBC. There's not much on it, but they put it out there. Because apparently there's a movement now. They're acting like people are out there like protesting, demanding for it. Apparently there's a movement now to end single-family housing zones. Look at all of these agendas that they got going on at the exact same time. Look at all of these things. They're hitting us from every angle. Next will be something with climate change. But I wanted to bring that up to show that, obviously, they want to get rid of the single-family housing units. Agenda 21. Now, let's move on to the reason why all of these cyber things are happening. Okay, so here we are over at CISA.gov. So this is the actual government website. And we are reading about electromagnetic pulse and geomagnetic disturbance. Sorry, I'm always paranoid about the recording on this. It seems to be doing all right. Okay, extreme electromagnetic incidents caused by an intentional electromagnetic pulse, attack, or naturally occurring geomagnetic disturbance caused by severe space weather. Ooh, space weather. Ooh, it's a scary story. Like C-19. Could damage significant portions of the nation's critical infrastructure, including the electrical grid, communications equipment, water and wastewater systems, and transportation modes. Oh, you mean everything you would need to conquer a nation successfully? And to successfully occupy that nation under the guise of helping? This is when the UN troops will come in. But let's keep going. The impacts are likely to cascade, initially compromising one or more critical infrastructure sectors, spilling over into additional sectors, and expanding beyond the initial geographic regions, adversely impacting millions of households and businesses. For these reasons, the potential severity of both the direct and indirect impacts of an EMP or GMD incident compels our national attention. Check this out. This was the announcement on May 12th. We're pleased to announce CYSA's National Risk Management Center, NRMC, and the National Electrical Manufacturers Association, in collaboration with the Department of Energy, will host an EMP and GMD Grid Resilience Seminar on June 8th, 2021. June 8th. That's today. Today they are holding this. And you wonder why these cyber attacks are happening. This is why. This seminar is an opportunity for government, industry leadership, and experts to convene, connect, and collaborate on how to enhance EMP and GMD protection for the nation's electric grid. Crap. Oh, man. But going through the announcements, so they announced that on May 12th, which they're holding that seminar today. Let's go see if we can read about this little seminar. I never went here, but let's go see what they're